Maurício Milani Shogun Rua is a Brazilian professional mixed martial artist who fights in the Ultimate Fighting Championship. He is a former UFC Light Heavyweight Champion and the 2005 Prix Middleweight Grand Prix Champion. As of July 21, 2014, he is number 9 in official UFC Light Heavyweight rankings. Early life: Rua was born and raised in Curitiba, Brazil. His father is a businessman and his mother is a former track athlete and now marathon runner. He has an older brother, Maurício, and a younger brother, Marcos. Both are mixed martial artists training at Universidade da Luta, though Marcos does not compete at a professional level. The Rua brothers occasionally take 10-kilometer runs with their mother. Rua began training in Muay Thai at the age of 15 and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu at 17. Rua followed his older brother in training at the Shogun Academy. He was successful in BJJ championships at the blue and purple belt levels. In addition to Muay Thai and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, he now trains in wrestling and boxing. Mixed martial arts career: Rua started his professional career at Vale Tudo events in Brazil, achieving 3 stoppages due to strikes, including a win over future Shogun Academy teammate Evangelista Santos. In a fast-paced bout, Santos matched Rua on the feet until Rua took Santos to the ground and forced a stoppage due to strikes from Mount. Shogun then entered the International Fighting Championships' Global Domination Tournament. Rua won his first bout against Eric Wanderlei due to punches, and in the second bout got the first submission loss of his career against Renato Sobral with a guillotine in the 3rd round. Pride Fighting Championship: Following his victory in the IFC tournament, Shogun made his way to Japan to enter the Pride organization. He made his Pride debut at the inaugural Pride Bushido 1, a side promotion for lighter fighters. In his 3 Bushido appearances, Rua defeated Akira Shoji, Akihiro Gono, and Yasuhito Namikawa, all by strikes in the 1st round. Rua graduated to his debut in a main Pride event at Pride 29, where he faced former professional wrestler Hiromitsu Kanehara, a Japanese fighter known for his toughness. Rua defeated Kanehara by stomps early in the 1st round. He entered the Pride 2005 Middleweight Grand Prix tournament as an underdog. For the 1st round of the tournament at Pride Total Elimination 2005, he faced Quinton Jackson, whom he had challenged after Jackson won a controversial split decision over Maurício Rua at Pride 29. Maurício dominated the favored fighter from beginning to end, breaking Jackson's ribs with knee strikes and ending the fight in dramatic fashion with soccer kicks to the face in the 1st round. Jackson later said that Shogun was the best fighter he had ever fought. In the 2nd round at Pride Critical Countdown 2005, Rua faced Antonio Roca copyright Ria Nogueira, a member of Shootbox's rival Academy Brazilian top team. Rua defeated Nogueira by unanimous decision. On August 28, 2005, Rua participated in Pride Final Conflict 2005, in which the last 2 bouts of the tournament were held on the same night. Rua defeated Alistair Overeem by TKO in the 1st round, while Ricardo Arona defeated Rua's teammate Wanderlei Silva by decision. Rua and Arona faced each other in the final bout of the tournament. At 2:54 in the 1st round, Rua knocked Arona out with punches to win the bout and become the 2005 Middleweight Grand Prix champion. He received a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu from Nino Schembri afterwards. This wrapped up a year in which he won Fighter of the Year honors from Shogun.com. In the next fight after his Grand Prix win, Shogun faced heavyweight wrestling star and Pride Grand Prix 2000 champion Mark Coleman at Pride 31. As Coleman executed a takedown, Rua landed awkwardly and dislocated his elbow, forcing a stoppage due to injury. At Pride Final Conflict Absolute he defeated French kickboxer Cyril Dibate by tap out due to stomps. At Pride 32 he submitted former UFC heavyweight champion Kevin Randleman with a knee at 2:35 of the 1st round, the only submission victory of his career. In his final Pride appearance at Pride 33, he fought a rematch with Alistair Overeem and knocked the Dutch fighter out at 3:37 of the 1st round. By the end of his run at Pride, Rua was ranked as the top light heavyweight in the world by Knockout, Shogun, and mawîRisiu.com. Ultimate Fighting Championship. After the UFC bought out Pride, Shogun signed on with the UFC and made his debut in the organization at UFC 76. Facing the Ultimate Fighter 1 winner Forrest Griffin, Rua was favored to win. However, Rua had difficulty with Griffin and became exhausted early on and was dominated for the remainder of the fight. He succumbed to a rear naked choke in the final seconds of the third round. He then had surgery for a pre-existing knee injury. Rua left shoot box in January 2008 and opened his own camp, Universidade da Luta, with his brother Murilo in Curitiba. In the months following his surgery, Rua completely re-ruptured damaged ligaments during training and was forced to undergo a second knee surgery. This forced him to drop out of UFC 85. He was granted a rematch with Mark Coleman at UFC 93 in Dublin. Shogun defeated Coleman by TKO with 24 seconds left in the third round. The fight earned co-fight of the night honors and a $40,000 bonus. In spite of the award, Rua drew criticism from fans for his lackluster performance against Coleman, who was 44 years old at the time and had not competed in over 2 years. Rua's next fight took place at UFC 97 in Montreal against former longtime UFC Light Heavyweight Champion Chuck Liddell. Rua won by KO due to strikes. With this victory, Rua returned to the top 10 rankings for the light heavyweight division, and the UFC decided to put him next in line for a shot at the UFC Light Heavyweight Championship. Fighting for the UFC Light Heavyweight title, at UFC 104, Shogun lost by unanimous decision to UFC Light Heavyweight Champion Lyoto Machida. All three judges scored the bout 48-47 in Machida's favor. Journalists and UFC President Dana White had scored the fight in Rua's favor. UFC Light Heavyweight Champion. Due to the controversy of the UFC 104 decision, a rematch was immediately announced and took place at UFC 113 on May 8, 2010 in Montreal. Rua won via knockout at 3:35 of round 1, after dropping Machida with a right and following up with punches on the ground. He was awarded the UFC Light Heavyweight Championship, becoming just the second fighter to have won Pride and UFC titles. Following the victory, Rua underwent surgery in June to repair a knee injured during the bout against Machida. Rua's first title defense was scheduled on March 19, 2011 against Rashad Evans, who had won by unanimous decision over Quinton Jackson at UFC 114 on May 29, 2010. However, following John Jones's victory over Ryan Bader at UFC 126, it was announced that Evans had blown his knee out in training and would not be able to face Rua. Jones was told during his post-fight interview that the UFC wanted him to replace Evans against Rua for the UFC Light Heavyweight Championship. Jones accepted and the fight was programmed for UFC 128. Quinton Jackson was also offered the title fight but declined, as 6 weeks' notice did not provide enough time make weight. In the title fight, Jones was able to overwhelm Rua from start to finish, beginning with a flying knee to the head. Rua later said the blow greatly affected his performance for the rest of the bout. Jones kept the pressure on Rua throughout the rest of the fight, utilizing unorthodox striking and ground and pound. Referee Herb Dean stopped the fight in the third round due to strikes. Post-title, after the loss to Jones, Rua's rematch with Forrest Griffin took place on August 27, 2011 at UFC 134. In a match that looked like the complete opposite of their original bout, Shogun demonstrated good head movement and footwork, as well as good accuracy and striking power, to win the bout via KO early in the first round. Rua had now avenged 3 of his 6 losses. Rua faced Dan Henderson on November 19, 2011 at UFC 139, losing via unanimous decision. Henderson was in control for most of the first 3 rounds, dropping Rua in the third. In the fourth round, the momentum started to shift towards Rua, who was able to mount Henderson. This fight was widely viewed as the fight of the year for 2011. Rua was expected to face Thiago Silva on July 21, 2012, at UFC 149. However, Silva was forced out of the bout with an injury. Rua faced Brandon Vera on August 4, 2012, at UFC on Fox. Shogun vs Vera. In a back-and-forth affair, Shogun managed to drop Vera several times and won by TKO due to punches in the fourth round. Rua faced Alexander Gustafsson on December 8, 2012, at UFC on Fox 5 and lost the fight by unanimous decision. Rua was expected to face Antonio Roca copyright Rio Nogueira in a rematch at UFC 161. However, Nogueira pulled out of the bout in the days leading up to the event citing a back injury. Perennial multi-divisional contender Chael Sonnen was briefly linked as a replacement for Nogueira, but eventually Rua was pulled from the event altogether. On August 17, 2013, at UFC Fight Night 26, Rua faced Sonnen in the main event. He lost the fight via a guillotine choke submission in the first round. Rua next faced James T. Huna on December 7, 2013, at UFC Fight Night 33. He won the fight via first-round knockout. The win also earned Rua his third Knockout of the Night bonus award. A rematch with Dan Henderson took place on March 23, 2014 at UFC Fight Night 38. After winning the first two rounds and scoring a knockdown in each, he was defeated via strikes in the third round. Despite the TKO loss, Rua was given his third Fight of the Night bonus award, his second for a bout against Henderson. Shogun sustained a broken nose in his fight with Henderson that required surgery. Rua is expected to face Jimmy Manuwa on November 8, 2014 at UFC Fight Night 56. Personal life. On September 12, 2007, Rua married physiotherapist Renata Ribeiro. Their first child, a daughter named Maria Eduarda, was born on January 15, 2010. Before becoming a fighter, Rua worked as a model in Brazil, doing books, pictures, and even fashion shows for brands. Of this time, he once said the first work is fight, and the second is model. Rua has said that he will never fight Wanderlei Silva nor his own brother Murilo due to their personal relationships. Maurício is of Italian and Portuguese descent. Championships and achievements: Pride Fighting Championships, 2005 Pride Middleweight Grand Prix Champion. Ultimate Fighting Championship, UFC Light Heavyweight Championship, Knockout of the Night vs Chuck Liddell, Lyoto Machida and James T. Huna, Fight of the Night vs Mark Coleman, Dan Henderson. World MMA Awards, 2010 Knockout of the Year vs Lyoto Machida on May 8, 2011 Fight of the Year vs Dan Henderson on November 19. Shogun, 2005 Fighter of the Year, 2005 Fight of the Year vs Antonio Roca copyright Rio Nogueira on June 26, 2009 Comeback Fighter of the Year. Mawôla.com, 2013 Knockout of the Year vs James T. Huna on December 7. Wrestling Observer Newsletter Awards, 2011 Fight of the Year vs Dan Henderson on November 19. Kickboxing record, mixed martial arts record, see also, list of male mixed martial artists, list of Pride champions, list of UFC champions, list of current mixed martial arts champions, references. External links, official website, UFC profile. UFC professional MMA record for Maurício Rua from Shogun, Maurício Rua on Twitter.